It seems that the closer we get to the opening of the Global Central Bank Summit in Jackson Hole, the weaker the US dollar becomes. Early on Wednesday, its a six-currency index was trading near this year's low, around 101.5 points. The greenback's decline against its major counterparts was triggered by anticipation of the US Fed Reserve Chair's speech scheduled for Friday. Since the markets are currently pricing in almost 100 basis point rate cut this year, the countdown for the dollar has begun. For now, let us find out how the macroeconomic news scheduled for Thursday, August 22 could affect the balance of power in the major currency pairs. You are watching Traders Calendar. Thursday will be a day of business activity reports from several leading global economies. We remind you that these indexes are calculated based on a surveys of purchasing managers in the services and the manufacturing sectors. The weighted average dynamics is reflected by the composite indicator, which is published at the same time. For example, in Australia, the July services and the manufacturing PMI were at 47.5 and 50.4 points, respectively. Meanwhile, the composite indicator came in at 49.9 points, dropping below the neutral 50-point mark for the first time since January. The August figure is expected to be even lower, around 49.6 points. And this indicates that Australia's economy is contracting, creating conditions for the country's currency to weaken. Japan's composite PMI is also anticipated to fall to 51.4 points in August. In July, the manufacturing and services sectors showed readings of 49.1 and 53.7 points, respectively. This indicates that while the manufacturing sector is lagging, the more flexible services sector keeps Japan's economy afloat. Nevertheless, the yen is likely to drop after the release of the composite PMI data if it shows a decline. The publication of German composite PMI data stands out as particularly important among other similar macroeconomic events on August 22. Notably, Germany is the leading economy of the Eurozone and the third largest economy in the world. In July, services and manufacturing activity posted 52.5 and 43.2 points, respectively. As a result, the composite value shrank below the critical 50-point line. Economists do not predict any rise in this indicator in August, with the forecast calling for a slight increase of just 0.1 points to 49.2. However, even this modest gain could boost the euro. However, the single currency will hardly continue gaining value relying solely on a Eurozone macroeconomic indicators. The fact is that half an hour after the release of Germany's PMI, the Eurozone's overall PMI will be published. Considering that the July data was revised upward to 50.2 points from a 50.1, and the forecast once again expect a 0.1 point decline, the overall trend appears unfavorable for the euro strengthening. The situation with the UK's composite PMI is more optimistic. The final July figure was revised upward by 0.1 points and another similar increase is expected in August to 52.9 points from a 52.8. Additionally, the two components, services and the manufacturing PMI, are performing quite well. The July activity stood at 52.5 and 52.1 points, respectively. Therefore, the British pound is expected to climb on Thursday. It would be logical to expect a similar trend for other dollar basket currencies. The weekly initial jobless claims data regularly triggers volatility on Forex because of a heightened attention to all macroeconomic reports from the United States. This week, the reaction could be even stronger since anxiety is growing as Jerome Powell's speech approaches. Judging by forecast, the US dollar is likely to take another to take another hit as a jump in initial jobless claims to 300,000 from 230,000 would indicate a cooling labor market and the economy as well. Meanwhile, the US composite PMI is also expected to decline by 0.2 points, confirming that the US economy is weakening slowly but confidently. However, the June composite PMI at a 54.3 points still looks stronger than the Eurozone's 50.2 points. However, this week the focus is heavily shifted towards the anticipated Fed Reserve rate cut. Therefore, the balance of power in the major currency pair is likely to favor the euro, given the euro's nearly 58% weight on the US dollar index basket. The greenback is almost guaranteed to decline after the release of the US business activity figures. Please note that the time of the publications is set in Moscow time at GMT plus 3. The next reader's calendar will be released on Friday, August 23. We will monitor the market reaction to the above-mentioned reports. Subscribe to our channel and follow changes in market sentiment with us. Any comments, questions and offers are welcomed. We wish you profitable trading and see you soon.